Hello everyone, welcome to Startup Classroom. I am Gunajit Brahma, a serial entrepreneur from Guwahati, Assam. I have been associated with a couple of startups which is into organic food product, as well as right now a startup which is into agri fintech, and we are helping smallholder farmers get financial services for for them. And in today's series of Startup Classroom, I'll be talking about how to build a great product. So developing a great product is nothing but identifying what is your customers or consumers pain point. Customers and consumers are those who will be either paying for your product or your services, and relieving their pain points primarily. And then you have to outperform your competition, if any, in the segment of your business or venture. So to outperform your competition is very easy actually, although it looks very hard, is simply solve the problem that your customer is facing better than your competition. That's as simple as that. So now we come to a little bit on the deep diving on the steps of doing it. So this is a few steps suggested by Peter Cohen in his article of 6 steps of making your new product a success, which is there in Inc. magazine. I have shared the link. You can just Google search it and look into it. There are 6 steps, but then I have a 7th step also, which is additional which I'll be talking about. So the first step of developing a great product is discovering your customer's unmet need. It's not only about discovering, it's also about interacting with the customers to identify what their need is or what are their pain points are, which is not met with any of the other companies in the market, and how you can solve that. So once you have interacted with your customer to and discuss with them about their unmet need pertaining to your business or related to something that business can provide services for, you and your team has to sit down, do a whiteboard charting and graphics and other things to develop a hypothesis on what is the customer need and how your team is capable of solving them problem. So you have to have all your, whether it is a technology team or technology product that you are solving, or it's a basic B2C consumer goods that you are trying to sell to your customers. So your entire team needs to be involved in the decision making, maybe the top brass, co-founders and senior managements, and then they have to develop a hypothesis how you can solve your customers' unmet need or requirements. So once you have you have developed the hypothesis on it, then you have to work on a prototype. It's mainly for technology based. It will be more prominent of how to developing a technology prototype. But even for your non-tech product, if it's a consumer goods, you can do a pilot testing of your product to the consumer with your potential consumers. In the term of tech, building a tech needs to be, or building a prototype needs to be very quick and inexpensive affair. You cannot build a very costly prototype and take a long time to develop a prototype. It has to be really quick. For technology, it could be between 3 to 6 months. For a consumer goods, it could be as as low as 1 month if your product is able to do so. But if you have vaccine discovery, your startup is into vaccine discovery or doing biotechnology related lot of hardcore research, then it might take a longer duration of time. So your industry, you'll be a better judge of about your industry and your company when you can develop a prototype. But building a prototype which matches the customer's unmet need is very critical. So once you have built your prototype and you have given your prototype for testing with your customers, you have to see whether your prototype is a minimum viable product, something which is not fully developed, but something customers is willing to use or try to use it. Once you test it with customers, you have to interact with your customers to see whether your prototype or the MVP is useful to them, and they will be the best judge to see to give feedback on your prototype, what are the features you need to do, what are the changes you need to do, likewise. So when in our fintech company, when we built our prototype of a mobile application and we were giving it to the smallholder farmers community, and then we realized that the individual farmers does not have smartphone. So they need to use somebody else, or their family members, their nephews, niece or son or daughter, to fill up the application form that we were developing. So then we thought there could be other guys who will be able to do the prototyping. So we enable the village level entrepreneurs to help us do the development or do the data collection on our behalf, fill up the forms. Similarly, if your product is a consumer good, you can also do the customer review then and there. Go to a mall, give free samples, make them use your sample then and there, get a feedback, live feedback, note it down, and then develop your MVP for a finished product. And then when you are doing it, when you are taking the feedback of your customer during the MVP stage, you have to also analyze the variations between your expected outcome, which you have done it in during your hypothesis or before building the product, and also do a comparative study on what is the observed result which you have got from your customers, which have taken your MVP product for testing. So that analysis is very critical, where you have overshooted your expectation or where you undershooted your expectation, so that your team can build a better product at the end of the day, which your customers are willing to pay. And lastly, you have to do a strategy pickup, or pick a strategy of how you are going to market your finished product to the consumers, which is mainly after getting your insight. So since you are already interacting with your customers, you already have insights of the customers. You just have to extrapolate the whole information and then give it a thought to develop the product. Also, but do make sure that your prototype has some unbiased consumers. So family friends are very good to do initial prototyping, but family friends may have biases towards you, positive biases towards you. So they might, although they might not get a feature, but they may say that they are happy with that feature that you are providing. So get unbiased opinion from new customers or unknown customers, so that will give you the comparative insight. And lastly, which I am telling about, is how to develop the strategy. Once the strategy is developed, you have to build a compelling story to sell that story to your newer customers, who will be willing to pay and pay for your service. So then it has to be a better than expected product or a better than expected result for developing a great product. Okay, so now we'll come to last part, which is mainly on what kind of consumers are there who might be interested in your product at the initial stage and later stage and others. So you have just understood how to build a great product. Yeah. So the final slides talks about the early adopters, who will be the technocrats or geeks, nerds, or visionaries who might be interested to do your pilot or help you with the pilot. So they are hardly around 15%. The first of the first adopters or initial tech enthusiasts, innovators, are just 2.5% of the whole consumer base for your product. But then there are the visionaries who will be the early adopters of your prototype. They are the ones who will be giving you the basic or the insight of your prototype and how to you can develop the product based on their insight. And then there's the masses of around 78 or 68% odd population, which will be mainly the conservatives and the pragmatists, which are the mainstream market. So once the prototype has been built, a great product has come up, then only they are going to adopt it. So it takes between 3 to 5 years getting to the mainstream market. And then there are skeptics who will use your product but then complain all the time. These are the laggers. They will come at the fifth year or sixth year of the product life cycle. So yeah. So with that, we come to a conclusion. I have 3 reading material. I think we'll be sharing this reading material link in your description of the video. And with that, I hope that you have understood how to build a great product, and I wish success to all of your startup ventures. Thank you.